Hey guys, welcome to episode 17 of Nemcast, and this time I've pressed the fucking record button. So we're gonna get a quick we'll get a quick intro out the way. You just have to bear with us for this quick advert we're doing, and we'll be right back for part one. Cheers, chaps.
Hi friends, it's Dominic here from Nemcast After Hours, here with a quick advert break from our friends over at Warhead Industries. We've been given a special code below, which is the code Courtney M5, 5% off any orders on Warhead Industries, where the link will be below. That can be their Bustin' Motors, their fantastic BBs, or any other products they may sell. So if you're on that website, check out, use that code, get yourself some great savings. And if you haven't already, come over and visit us on the Nemcast After Hours, where we'll be discussing all things airsoft related and general debauchery. And as always guys, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. See you in the next one. Cheers guys.
So I'm once again introducing Larry Hastings to the channel. Thank you for accepting our invite to come on. And we'll just quickly go over what we've already gone over, and I'll try not to repeat ourselves too much. So, if it's not already painfully obvious, and I've already double-checked that I'm recording, Larry does ODST sort of cosplay kits and the full suits. Now, you can answer this as quick as you want this time, so we don't have to rehash. What got you into the cosplay side of it, and that's sort of making the suits?
Sure.
You are going to feel like you're repeating yourself. I've done this with negative airsoft as well.
Oh, it's fine, man. I started off making both Fit costumes. Then I moved into custom Mandalorian stuff in the 20-teens. Then up to Mad Max costuming, kind of not screen accurate, post-apocalyptic costuming. Started a big group with those guys, and then I wanted something a little more ambitious. So I went to the Halo route and started making ODSTs.
Okay. Now your audio is a little poppy, so I might have to edit that a little bit. Right. So that's the basic history of it.
Yeah.
Is that your full-time job?
Yep, it is right now.
Or is it just like a hobby that's turned into a job, or is it more of a did you think, right, I'm going to do this as a job to start, or was it one of those hobbies that eventually turned into a full-time job? Did you start cosplaying then turn it into a living?
Yeah, so it'd be the latter there. So I started costuming and then started taking it really serious, and it became a full-time job. Up until about 2 months ago, I still had a day job, and it was also the same field of work. I did a lot of stuff for museums, zoos, entertainment parks, and theme parks and stuff like that. And then I got let go from there due to complications in my employment. And then I decided to take something more serious. I mean, I get enough orders from people, but it's now I can make things faster because I don't have a speedy day job.
So you mentioned earlier that you 3D printed the original sort of designs, and then you turned it into like a mold for, what was it you used again?
So we 3D printed everything with ABS and resin, and then we molded that silicone, and then we cast it polyurethane rubber. Well, urethane rubber, excuse me, not polyurethane.
Now, the polyurethane, how come you use polyurethane over sort of a 3D printed material? Is it because it's a lot more hard wearing, it's more flexible, or what's the what's the difference?
Yeah, all of the above. So it's rigid, but it flexes. Imagine something a little bit softer than a car tire. I think a car tire is like 150 diameter. I might be wrong, don't quote me. But the material we use is 80 diameter. So it still has enough flex to it. But we wanted something that was stuck worthy, essentially. So you can do all your movie stunts and everything. That's originally what we planned to do with the November Black series that we were making. But we wanted suits where they could be hero suits as well as stunt suits because limited production. That's why we steered more towards rubber rather than a print. Prints are delicate, depending on what you print. The mat still, there's no sense in what this processing works. Something.
Just hang on, Larry. Your audio is like gone really weird.
What's that?
Does anything sound better now?
Yes. Perfect. Audio's perfect.
Everything sounds better.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
I don't know what that was all about. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
Shitty signal or
It's my
something.
fault. It was going fucking fine before, and then I just dicked it all up. So it's entirely my fault.
If you can change it, just switch me and Larry for continuity.
It don't matter. It really doesn't matter. Right. So where were we? So you do
materials.
You do the molds, and you use those materials over the 3D printed materials. So you've tried ABS, you've tried PLA. have you tried any of the more modern materials, or are you just going to stick with that process you've got now? Or
As far as modern materials, what do you mean exactly?
well, there's new, more modern sort of rubber filaments, with a bit more flex to them and things like that. Or is it
Oh,
just have
sure.
you just decided?
TPU. Yeah. So specifically, there's that TPU material, um, and we haven't tried it, but we know plenty of people that have. And the issue with the 3D print is there's, there, I'm sure you know what the inside of a 3D print looks like. There's like a weave essentially.
Mhm.
But the issue with any 3D print over a period of time is there's going to be a lot of flex, especially in the TPU and things like that. So it's meant to be flexible. And after a while, that internal structure is going to start to break down, and then the material is going to fracture, and then you're just going to have a mess of a
So
piece. So
you're building your kits to last, essentially. So
yeah, I think they'll outlast us personally.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good. So
How
how
long
do you
does
actually go on, Dom? Sorry.
Because how long does it take to go from sort of we have a concept to we have a finished product? What's that sort of time frame like? Are we talking 6-7 months, or can you get it done really quick depending on your timescale?
If it took 6 or 7 months, I probably wouldn't do it. So a relatively simple shape is the ODST shoulder plate. So let's take and say, from a raw physical print to molding it and casting it in rubber is probably 2 days. So we can take something, post process it in an hour, and then we spray our filler primer on it. And that's usually what takes the longest is waiting for the damn paint to dry and then the silicone to cure. But it's an immediate process. It's really fast. Yeah.
The
No, you
finishing.
need to give some of our designers a kick up the ass if you can do it that quickly.
Um,
Send it over.
say the helmet. Say if you made one of those, you say it's 2 days to make and get it filler primed and ready. The actual finishing side of it, so the finished painting and things like that. How do you go about things like that? Because I've seen obviously the visor is clear and things. What do you do to actually make those things work? How did you figure it all out? It must have been quite a process
Uh,
to sort of learn it all.
yeah, a lot of trial and error, a lot of wasted money, learning how materials work. All on my dime, and my business partner Daryl. We both have together about 12 years in the prop making, so we've both wasted an exorbitant amount of money getting to where we are today. But we have the helmet mold, and we rotocast those helmets, and it depends on the client base, what they want specifically. But we cast those in a rigid resin. We've made rubber helmets before. The issue is adhering the visor to the helmet. The visors don't have, they have flex, but not a lot. So if your helmet flexes too much out of rubber, it will break the visor, and then the rubber's a lot heavier than the resin as well, so it will wear on your neck after a period of time. But you know, painting the helmets, making the visors. We outsource that to a good prop maker named Rhino Props. Great guy. He has a vacuum forming machine. He makes we do a lot of work back and forth. We'll send him stuff. He sends us stuff. It's all mutually assured benefits, basically.
Mhm. Now we've spoke earlier about how we've all previously played. So obviously you do the ODST style of Halo right now.
Mhm.
Ross hasn't played the Halos. Dom and I have. We both sort of grew up on it. Played all the
Yeah.
way up to sort of the modern Halos where they brought out the new enemies that no one really likes playing against.
Yeah.
Now, this sort of leads us over to the TV show. Now, obviously, you said you only watched the first episode. I've watched
Yep.
all the way through, but what did you think of the actual props, the kit they used, things like that? Because that would be an interesting take from you, being that you make some really nice high end stuff for the ODSTs.
Sure.
In the TV
The
show, they did
kits.
have some kit.
Yeah, the costumes and props were phenomenal. I've seen a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. I mean, there's stuff out there now, but I've seen a lot of it behind the scenes. I know a few guys that worked on the show, and they all just did a bang up job. Like really, costumes and props are great. It's just a shame that the script and the story didn't match it. So there's that.
It just didn't follow the actual
It,
game
I,
itself at all.
I think that's a recurring theme, though, isn't it? Like recently, they brought out the Borderlands series, and everyone's saying that flopped. I've not personally watched it, but then obviously it's kind of a big thing turning video games into kind of TV now. Obviously, Last of Us, I think, kind of started that off, and then now it's
Sure.
kind of every
Yeah, I struggled
game's
to.
getting it.
Yeah, I struggled to watch The Last of Us, but then again, the first game was great. The second game just fell on its ass. but that's personal preference.
Do you make anything for film companies? Oh, sorry, Larry, to interrupt. Do you make anything for film companies that we might have seen? Just on the off chance we've gone, oh, we wouldn't even notice that came from you.
Yeah, a few. I'm under NDA for one specific right now, but I will say it's a recent video game adaptation to an Amazon show that we put in a bid for to make some really exorbitant things. And I'm not even sure that we can accomplish in the time frames they're after. But you are familiar with Neil Blomkamp to some extent, I'm assuming.
With who? Sorry,
Neil Blomkamp.
Neil Blomkamp.
No Bloomkamp.
Yeah. We've made some things for him. He owns a few pieces of mine. Nothing that's been. It's the interesting thing about Neil is that he is an accumulator of props. So every movie and everything he's ever made, after the shooting is done and everything's wrapped, he keeps everything, which is just nuts to me. But he has a few things that I've made, and we just wrapped up a relatively big project for him that most people don't even know is coming. But it's going to come out soon. It's going to be amazing.
That's going to be cool.
Keep our eyes out.
I mean, one thing I'm hoping they don't mess up on the note of video games and that sort of thing that have been turned into TV shows is the Warhammer one. I am terrified if it does come out, it's going to be a pile of shit on arrival. I mean, Henry Cavill's in it, so it should be okay.
That was it. We have our Lord and Saviour Henry Cavill. So
you do say that though. They brought out The Witcher, and that very quickly fell off a cliff.
Didn't he recently walk away from the project though?
You never quite know what to believe, because some people, you'll see the odd headline where he says he's walked away, and then you see the other one saying that there's one in the works, and you don't quite know what's, there's no confirmation from Games Workshop. There's no actual, what would the word be, information coming out from the people who own the IP.
Sure. What always kills me about those TV shows is that they always try to take it and do it from the beginning. I don't think they're going to go as far back as the Men of Iron or the Minnesota or anything. But it's I'd like to see the Horus Heresy, but I know they're not going to start there. What was the big thing before that? Reinhardt or whatever? I don't know.
I don't know the OG Warhammer as well as I should. I know roughly from the Horus Heresy onwards, because I sort of started playing the games, the Dawn of War games when they came out. The RTS strategy games and things like that. Along around the same time, I was playing sort of Halo Wars and those sort of games, which are again super addictive. What worries me is they're going to probably bring out this TV show. It's going to fall on its arse, and then that sort of where they actually make effort to make cool IPs into a TV show just dissipates, because I think it's going to be like a bit of a 5-year thing, 10-year thing where companies start to put energy in it, and then they'll back off when they start to lose money if they're not careful. But so you said you've had some Warhammer in the past, haven't you? Or you've still got a pile of shame. Right.
I have a pile of shame,
Now, obviously, Dom's located quite close to Warhammer HQ. Dom, drop me a message. We'll send you some stuff from Warhammer World if you like.
If there's anything you've got your eye on, just pop us a message. I'll nip down and grab it for you. And as a thank you from us and the chaos that we caused on a short podcast.
Why don't you guys go and steal that big Horus Heresy diorama they got for me?
Yeah, no problem. We've got that. We've got a van. We've got big.
I want that whole Battle of Terra diorama. The thing's massive.
They are quite impressive. Those sort of dioramas they've got going on. That is really quite cool.
I went when I was doing it. I went with my brother because he was big into Warhammer, and I went and I was like, yes, this is visually pleasing. It tickles the chism.
Even if you don't play it, you walk into a place like that and you go, actually, yes, I really appreciate the effort. This is one of the things I really like about the sort of cosplay side of it that you guys do. And when you see even airsofters do the sort of cosplay kits, and you think they put some serious effort into that, you don't have to appreciate what they do, like the genre they might be into or whatever it might be. But when you see people put that much passion into a project such as that, you think, you've got to give them credit where credit's due. Now, how practical do you think your sort of ODST loadout would be in something like Airsoft? Running around. Do you reckon it could take a beat in an Airsoft game, or would it start to get really knackered really fast?
No, you'd be able to wear it for a long period of time in Airsoft. There's one guy who bought a torso loadout from us. The shoulders, the chest, the back, everything on the torso. And he asked me if the helmets could withstand it. And I said, no. I mean, maybe, but I'm not going to be responsible for it. I know the visors aren't, they're not, I
The
forget
rated.
what's the certain. Yeah, this doesn't have the ANSI rating or whatever it is. So it's like the visor and the helmet, no, but the rest of the armor, 1,000%. I had a guy reach out to me on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, the guy who bought the kit for airsofting, told him where he got it. The guy came to me and he says, "Man, like he was running and gunning all day and it didn't seem to hinder movement or anything." He's like, "Well, that's great. I got field test information now, so cool." Because I'm not going to do it, but somebody's crazy enough to do it.
Well, so you used to play airsoft, generally speaking, didn't you? So how long did you actually play for?
Probably about 5 years.
So was it?
Yeah.
How old were you roughly? Like early teens sort of thing? Like it
No,
first started
no,
with mates?
no. We were. I was living on my own, so at least I was living on my own. So I was 16, but probably 19 to 25, give or take, roughly. But I was a young adult, so.
Yeah. What sort of rifles did you have? In the UK we have these things called Timmy the Rentals. Now Timmy is the guy in the blue hoodie who turns up, borrows the site rental G36, and off he goes. Were you sort of that level of kit, or were you like a speed indoors sort of player or outdoors? What were you sort of playing, generally speaking?
Sure. So I used to run an ICS M4 platform. It was the split gearbox version, which that gun was just great, man. Everything we did though was outdoors. I predominantly in our little 10-man squad. I just ran kind of a support DMR kind of guy. So I think at a point I had a M130 spring in my gun, and it was shooting up to I think 450 FPS. So in America, you have to cap that off, and you can't go full auto because that would just suck. But I also couldn't engage people for more than like a specific distance.
Yeah, minimum engagement distance. Yeah,
same what we have here.
Yeah.
Our FPS limits in the UK are much lower, generally speaking. For a sort of full auto AG, whether most sites, whether it's indoor or outdoor, is 350 on a 0.2. 400 on for most DMRs and 500 for bolt actions. That's generally how it works with an MED.
So the weakest or the lightest BB I could run was like a 25, 0.25 or 0.3s. So it was just reaching out, really tapping people if I use anything lower than that.
Did any of your experience in airsoft translate over to how you make things now? Because I remember you saying, obviously, with your sort of the imitation weapons that you run for the ODST kit, you said they're just solid resin. Now, you mentioned you were working on like an AG or a GBBR platform. What was that again?
So we wanted to be able to have a plug-and-play kit similar to the Flux Raider, which is for real firearms. I think P320. I think it's a pistol, but we wanted to have something that would plug into an SMG. Basically, like it'd be as close as we can get screen accurate wise to the SMG. But other than that, it's just something that we're fiddling around with. Nothing that we're taking overly seriously at the moment, just because there's no demand. I mean, there's a demand, but there's a demand for everything else we make. It's like we got a ton of other crap to do first.
What was that kind of demand like? Is it a case of you turning out kind of 100 units a month, or is it more kind of on the low end scale, or kind of obviously
it's difficult to tell with how big your team is, isn't it?
Yeah, so right now we have a functioning team of about 6 to 8 guys, sometimes 10 if we have a little bit much. Like the Blumkamp project we were doing, I brought everybody in and we were working about 12 hours a day, which was a lot, but we got that project knocked out in just shy of a month. But like with the ODSTs, everybody wants something specific. So I specifically really take my time to make sure I'm giving them the best quality for their money. That's kind of at the heart of what I do. I'd be pretty pissed off if I paid an arm and a leg for a costume and it showed up not exactly or above what I wanted. And I sometimes I throw in a lot of free stuff like extra like Halo 3 frag grenades or pins. We make a lot of extra crap, just swag. People love it. I love it, so I assume everybody else does too.
I'm guessing you kind of see it from you see it from the consumer side of it. You're like, if I'm paying this, I want this. This is how it should come, kind of thing, rather than almost a manufacturer's side of it of we're going to get as much out as we can and just kind of fill the market.
A lot more.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah, totally. So it's like if somebody contact, that's why I don't have a website, because I just don't want people going on and clicking they want to buy this or that. It's like, message me and let's work through all the details of exactly what you want, and then I will do the best I can, because that's what I would expect. So
What
it,
does
it
a
takes longer, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
what does a sort of a full suit, full setup sort of cost from a buyer's perspective? If I said, "Hey Larry, I want a full ODST loadout," what kind of sort of number
Sure.
am I looking at here?
So you could buy the kit and build it yourself, and that's about $2,000, or 2,000 USD. But that's everything you would need head to toe. But you would have to build it and figure out how to rig it and make it wearable. Or you could pay $5,000, and we will make you a completely custom kit to your specification, painting, colors, and everything. Everything's ready to go right out of the box. And weapons are additional, but you can also get the weapons in the raw form and finish those yourself. You can do whatever you want. But it's like we wanted to offer a bunch of different options. We also, and people can buy individual parts. So everything has an individual price. It's a little bit more if you buy it individually, just because we're not making everything and using all the materials at the same time.
Yeah.
Whereas if we were, it'd be cheaper.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a negligible cost difference. It's not overly expensive to buying things individually either.
So,
the helmets and stuff, how on earth to get around measuring things like that? Because obviously you don't know how big someone's head's going to be. Do you get them to measure their own head and then go, right, this is roughly what it is? Is there like a big guessing scale, or is it one size fits all, or how does it all work?
It's normally one size fits all. I personally have a really big head. So if it fits me, chances are it's going to fit 90% of the people. There's Daryl, my business partner. He's 6'7". And the helmets fit him.
Christ.
And then I also he's a big fellow. Like, what is that, 2.2 meters or something?
Yeah.
And then the smallest person on our team is Quartet on Instagram. She's a smaller Asian woman, and I think she's 5'6", 5'7", and the kits fit her up to him. So there's a lot of wiggle room.
Wiggle room.
That's fair enough. At least you've got plenty of wiggle room in those then, so you don't get many fitment issues and whatnot. Because when someone says, I'm doing something to custom build and it's not sort of a large scale production, the first thing that'll be in my head is, I hope to God this fits when I send it out. So at least I suppose there's that, you don't have to worry about such things. It must have taken you absolutely really years to get this honed down to like a bit of a fine art. At what stage did you go from, say, just you and your business partner, however big it was, to a full team of 8 people?
It's pretty contemporary. Yeah, it's pretty contemporary. Between Daryl and I, we've both been at this for about 10 to 12 years. We've both spent a lot of money trying to figure out these things. And when we decided we were going to do November Black, we steered towards making things both hero suit worthy, so they could be in front of the camera and look great, and then also stunt worthy at the same time. And I just don't know when it became a full-time thing for us.
Naturally, yeah.
Yeah, dude, just one day I woke up and it's like, where am I? What am I doing?
So I can imagine at Halloween, you said you had kids, that you guys absolutely smash costumes and the whole get up on the 31st. You guys, and everyone's looking at you in envy. Is that the case? Do you build stuff for your kids that's like one-off and custom, or?
Yeah, my kids, they always want something weird. So there's 4 of them, and they always want something strange. Like my son last year, he wanted to be a water tower. So, so last year I built him a little water tower hat, and he walked around dressed up as a water tower. That was awesome. My kids are weird, man. They're like their dad. They're all just a little strange. So
that's good. That's good. That's what you want. A bit of creativity.
I mean, you can't say no one else has done it, at least.
Yeah, I was going to piggyback on to obviously Court with that one, because obviously you said you've been doing it for a while and kind of taking its time to kind of come to fruition almost. I'm guessing a lot of the designs, when you're going through something new, go through a lot of iterations. It's kind of design it, make it, revise it, go back to the drawing board and keep doing that, or is it very much you kind of just one and done it kind of thing?
So with the ODSTs specifically, it's never a guessing game, because we're in today's age, we're able to go in on a computer and look at every minute detail of any set of the armor, any of the armors from Halo, realistically. And we have a very talented 3D modeling team. There's only two of them, so it's not really a team, but they're very good at what they do. They get paid a decent amount of money from us, whatever we can afford, and then they also sell the files after we're done, as long as we don't want them proprietary to us. But so no, there's never any guesswork, never any to and from as far as concept to physical item. No, we're very efficient and streamlined.
The files that you could potentially buy, where would you find them? On Cults 3D? Is it Yegi, or where would you?
Man, I wish I could tell you. I am such a caveman when it comes to anything technical.
Well,
Daryl handles all
editing. Post editing. If you send me a link, and I'll just stick it on the screen. So if anyone is interested in doing it, say in the UK, and they want to just print their own bits and bobs or whatever it might be, they can follow those links and go from there.
The guy who sells them, I know you can find him on Etsy and Instagram. His handle is Tidal Wave Designs. He's done everything for us, at least 99%, and the guy is so damn talented. But yeah, just a shout out to him. That's where we get all of our STLs.
One thing I want to ask is, obviously you've got an M16 in the background, all that sort of stuff. Do you have the balls to go to the range in your ODST kit?
I have. What do you mean? Hell yeah.
I just have I have a vision of you go, yeah, I'm going to go in my full kit to the range, and then you get there and there's a load of like old guys all staring at you going, the fuck is he wearing?
Yeah, a lot of the FUDs, I think, is the colloquial term. So did you guys catch the Garantham video we did in April?
Yes. I wasn't going to bring it up because I wanted to speak to you for the sake of speaking to you, because I like your stuff. And I didn't want to feel like we're bringing you on to sponge from views, if that makes sense.
I don't care, man. We're just talking.
But yeah, I mean, we watched that, and we may as well bring it up while you're here. How on earth did you get in contact with Grand Thumb? Because he's a big name.
The guy is so fucking ridiculous. So it's like maybe midnight over here, and I've had a few beers or whatever. I'm out with my wife. We're out. We did dinner and drinks or whatever, and then I get a message from this Mike Jones guy. It's like such a common name. It's like, hey, it was so simple. It's like, hey, do you want to do an April Fool's video with me? And my response was, bro, I don't even know you. Stop messaging me. I didn't look at his Facebook or anything. And my brother, when I came home, I was like, look at this guy. Look at this guy. And he goes, it's Grantham, right? And I was like, no. I don't watch. He loves it. I watch some of his stuff, but whatever. So I messaged him like a day or two later, say, hey, man, didn't even realize it was you. And he goes, well, all good. So let's work together. And it was like 2 weeks of frantic chaos trying to get everything situated and out there. But it was just so candid and personable. Like Mike is just such a cool dude.
It's quite a surreal experience. It must be quite a surreal experience being reached out to by someone like that, and then you're on YouTube, you're getting a shitload of views. And did you notice a massive bump in the sort of company's progress when you started going out on the YouTube side of it like that?
I definitely noticed a lot more military guys reaching out for me for commissions. I was talking to a guy just last night that's from 3rd Special Forces Group, and that is just the coolest damn thing ever. There's a few guys in Fort Bragg that wanted me to make them helmets that are like they can jump in them, a parachute out.
That's cool.
And there's a guy who sent me a video. He's like he's I don't know. He shoots the gun out of the Osprey, and he sent me a video wearing my helmet, just blowing this minigun out the side of this bird. It's just crazy, man. It's just, and so I've definitely noticed a big influx of service guys, which I guess they're all, at least majority of them, are Halo fans, which is awesome. And it's just like, if I could just do that, and it just feels really good, So I can never thank Mike enough.
That must be really insane. Have you got any more work coming up with him, or is he just? I don't know if you keep in contact with people like that, or whether it's just like a buy thing and then they're gone. I don't know how it all works really.
Yeah, I think it was just a one and done. Every year he does some silly April Fool's video, and I just think Halo was the biggest one that was demanded, so he got us in there. He did some previous reviews of Halo rifles too, so
Yes, that was something that I wanted to talk about as well, because you got to have a shoot with that chap made a battle rifle type thing, didn't he, for Halo? What was that actually like? Because I bet that was quite a cool thing to see, because obviously you're big into the Halo, you're big into the ODST, then all of a sudden you've got a very, very realistic replica working rifle in your hands to have a play about with. What was it like?
So just to start, I don't really know if it was covered in that video, but it had some. So there was 3 magazines with the rifle, and when you slotted them in, like when you were going hot, it would actually display the amount of ammo that you had in the mag on the digital counter as it does in the game. However, it was a 10-round magazine, and every round accounted for 3 rounds on the digital layout, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it was great for what it was. Really clean platform, and the thing was entirely made by this guy. It wasn't a chassis that was printed; like it was a real rifle, like everything, custom barrel, custom internals, custom gas system. It was just bonkers that this guy just made this thing. It took him a long time. I wish I could remember his YouTube channel, man.
I mean, to make something like that and test it and get it right, and then all of a sudden you've got it in your hands. It must be really quite cool because you've got the full kit, you've got the rifle, you're pissing about on the range properly.
Yeah.
Are you ever going to look at getting one yourself? That is the question. I mean, I'd be disappointed if you didn't, but I bet the price would be high.
I don't know that I can afford it, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I want one so goddamn bad.
It's a proper
Talking
unicorn.
with Mike, yeah, pretty much. It's a one and done maybe. But talking to Mike, I think he said it was like upwards of $75K just to make the damn thing.
Wow.
It's like a mortgage.
Until like PSA or Bear Creek Arsenal get a hold of the blueprints, it's probably never going to be on the Civ market.
Yeah, but then it would just fall apart anyway. So
yeah, I got a few BCAs and PSAs, and I like them, man. They're not too bad, but I mean they're not Colts, but they work. You know what I mean?
I mean, you've got a 3D printer. Reach out to that sort of 3D printing side of the community, and maybe they could help. I'd guess.
Maybe.
Because is it PSR, Print Shoot Repeat? He has that channel.
Oh, PSR, yeah.
He does that sort of firearm stuff. I bet he'd know people who could build shit like that. I'd be amazed if he didn't. But that'd be really quite cool to see.
My friend Paige, she knows him personally, and they were just at that Finished Brutality or something like that a couple weeks ago.
Lee McCullen and all those guys, is it?
Yeah.
I keep trying to watch that Finished Brutality, but every time I start watching something else pops up, and I'll go back to that and watch that, and it goes into the ether of YouTube and then disappears forevermore.
Say la vie.
Right.
Go on.
No,
I was just going to circle back to kind of the production side of it. Obviously, like I said previously, that's kind of my background at the minute and whatnot. So it's kind of like, what was your background going into it? I think you mentioned was it material science or material kind of stuff? Was it just, like Courtney said earlier, was it purely kind of self-taught, or was it something that you've kind of done as a job and then transferred it over?
Yeah, no, I'm entirely self-taught. My previous occupation before this, I worked on, so I was a scenic artist for about 4 years, doing things for theme parks and whatnot. And then prior to that, I spent 13 years on the Ohio River, working on a tugboat, moving cargo around. And so a lot of times you'd bring a bag of stuff to work, change of clothes, this, that, and the other, just in case you fall in or God forbid, whatever happens. But I used to bring a whole bunch of different materials to work and projects to work on when I was on the boat instead of like the stuff everybody brought. So, I'd be fucking making silicone molds, on a boat, and everybody's like, what the hell is all this, man? What are you doing? But, I always caught a lot of flack over that, but it's all self-taught, everything from the ground up.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I suppose that's a lot of hobbies, isn't it? When you get a real passion for something, you start to learn it, and then it's that's the natural progression of being self-taught.
Sure.
Is there anything you'd change going, from a couple of years back to now? Would you change anything as to how you've done the business or how it's currently running? Any mistakes you've made that you sort of wish you hadn't have done? Any kits you'd made you wish you hadn't have sold? Anything like that?
I wouldn't say mistakes, just accidents that probably could have been avoided. When we were doing the short film, it got, not externally, but internally, it got really big, really fast. And there were just some things that I probably should have paid better attention to, and it probably wouldn't have gotten as far as it did. It doesn't really matter what, because it's already happened. bygones are bygones, is water under the bridge. But there's just some things personally that I definitely would have paid better attention to, and brought notice to it before it got to the point it is now. But that's life, baby. You live and you learn, right?
Yeah, that's it. So that's referring to the short film you've got on the YouTube channel, I assume.
Yeah.
So, on that note of that short film, was that picked up by the Halo sort of community itself? Then I assume. Well, obviously it would have been picked up by the community, but the company, be it Bungie or whoever it was at the time.
Well, when we were in, it was so loosely based. I dare not say even pre-production or post or anything like that. But before we filmed the first episode, as it were, the snatch and grab episode of the Insurgent Propagandist, we reached out to a lot of people that were in the YouTube sphere that are Halo guys, like Hidden Xperia, Installation 00. And, I don't know. I don't handle the PR side of things. I just make the stuff. But one thing I did want to be a part of was talking to Mr. O'Donnell. And we talked to him for a few hours one night. That guy, he's just so damn nice. But we asked him if he could score it for us. And he could, but he couldn't say he did, basically. But, yeah, it didn't get picked up by anybody big, as it probably shouldn't have. I mean, it looked like crap, but, it worked out. A couple things I would have changed there if I known more about directing and the camera specifically. But I know there was like this hijacking of social media that we wanted to do, like this big campaign, kind of like Hunt the Truth. And I know a lot of the big YouTube guys were reviewing something for Halo Infinite, and then we'd had this Insurgent logo appear on the screen, all this crazy static, and then the voiceover in like a 30-second trailer for November Black would launch on the screen. And that happened. A lot of guys did pick that up, and that was just so damn cool to see. But other than that, not really, not really.
I watched it the other day, and I thought the level of finished sort of quality of that short film, I was astounded by it. So, are you going to do any more like that going forward? Is there any more plans in the works to do more stuff to that accord, or is that sort of a one and done deal?
No, we wanted to have it a whole series, so we didn't have a specific amount, but we were thinking 5 episodes, totaling about half an hour to 45 minutes together. So we did film the second episode, which was the interrogation of the guy we snatched and grabbed. We never got the footage. There's a big falling out that happened right after that, and it just is what it is. We have pieces of it that, like, behind the scenes stuff where we're goofing around, and then there's actually some of the acting portions. But maybe we'll drop some of that here and there. But currently, we're gearing towards doing documentary style short videos, basically a lot of B-roll footage, while somebody narrates over the B-roll footage with specific UNSC-oriented operations against secessionist forces. But that's just a contemporary idea. It just came about a week ago, and I wrote a few scripts for that. And I think we're going to start shooting it soon, like some of the crap. I know the Warthog guy, Pete. I reached out to him. He's in Maryland somewhere. We're going to go out there very soon. We're going to film a lot of B-roll with the Warthog.
That's going to be cool.
Yeah.
I bet you're really looking forward to that. That's going to be such a cool combination. If you can get a hold of that, the guy with the battle rifle as well, that'll finish it.
Put all 3 together.
Dude, the Warthog guy, he's an old Navy vet, and he's just like the saltiest dude you'll ever talk to. And I was on the phone with him the other day, and he goes, "Okay, look, before you tell me what you want, I'm going to tell you what I want. This isn't your Warthog, and don't fucking ask me to drive wherever." I guess a lot of people are like, "Hey, man, it's for the Halo community. Bring it over here." And he's like, "No, fuck you." Like, and
you come here.
He comes to me.
Can you imagine having it? So it's like, yeah, I get it, man. But guess what? I don't want any of that. I don't want any of that at all. I just want to come up next to it. Stay where you're at. We'll come to you.
Promo stuff. That's gonna. I'll look forward to seeing that. So, how did you get a hold of the Warthog guy? Again, just message him on Instagram or whatever it was at the time, and he just
reached out to them. Man.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's amazing how easy it is once you reach out to people. How most people will just sort of give you the nod. I really didn't expect you to reach out to us at all. Oh, sorry, us to reach. When we reached out to you, I had a glass of wine, and I thought, message Larry Hastings, see if he messages back. Cause I like his shit, and you messaged me back, and I had one of those. It was the meme from Planet of the Apes, where he goes, "Oh no," because I thought I was not prepared for getting an answer back from that, and I just thought, yeah, this is going to be cool. This is going to be cool.
I forgot what time I got it, but I just remember like you saying, like, you're probably not even going to read this, and it was like, bullshit, I'm reading it right now, bro. Like, I do remember your initial reply. He was like, man, I can't, like, wow. It's like, we're all just people, man. Like, I love talking to people about my processes.
So the next thing that we want to sort of cover in general is, how difficult is it to get your sort of stuff in the UK? Have you shipped much stuff out of the US, or is it mostly US based at the moment?
90% is from the U.S. However, I do have things. Well, I don't want to say we, November Black Productions. We have things in New Zealand, Australia, France, Germany, and Ukraine. As weird as that sounds.
Some guy running around in full ODST kit in Ukraine, isn't he? I really hope that is the case.
Fair play to him.
About 2 years ago, some Russian news site picked up a little short video we did, and they said they were the ODST costumes we did initially were exoskeleton armor, advanced warfare craft. There's actually a fucking Ukrainian article, like Fox News or something, and they're debunking it, and like it's all in Russian or Ukrainian. I can't tell. It doesn't matter. Get a real language, but it's all in their tongue, and they're like, no, these guys are just fucking dumb cosplayers. But there was a U.S. guy who is operating in Ukraine. He just fucking messaged me like last weekend. He wanted me to build him a ballistic ODST helmet. It's like, bro, no fucking way. And then he sends me this video of him getting fragged. Like it's like a 30-second video, like him just sprinting through this wood line and then just off the left side. He sends me the video and he goes, "See, if I had a ballistic ODST helmet, I wouldn't be laid up in the infirmary right now." It's like, what the fuck, bro? Like,
guilt tripping you with war crimes.
Yeah, dude. Like, what are we doing here, man? Like, sorry, like. Well, if you did have a helmet, you'd probably be dead because it wouldn't be ballistic,
That's a new level of surreal, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, shipping stuff to the UK. I have to get your address. I'm going to mail you guys all out a couple of the Ohio Hell Jumper pins we got. It's in the same rubber we make our armor, and then some of the UNSC pins we make. We hand them out at conventions and stuff. So, a lot of people get them when they do video chats with us or just meet us in person. We'll hand out. We
look forward to it.
I'd love to send you guys the helmet, but man, the fucking postage would just be ridiculous.
Oh, it is killer trying to get anything out or into the US. I had to get stuff drop shipped, and that was horrible.
Yeah, I mean,
Dom runs. Well, I'll tell you guys what. If you figure out the postage and you guys pay for it, I'll send you a helmet.
Don't. I'm going to figure that out.
I'm on that.
Yeah,
right,
we're on that.
I'll figure it out.
I'm only going to send one, so you guys got to fight over it. But I'll send you a helmet that you guys can pay.
It's fine. We can share the custody. We'll have it one night a week each. Go to sleep in it, and then that's it. Hand it over the next night.
That's brutal. I love it.
That's completely thrown me a loop now. Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're all just people, man. It's whatever. Just remember, you can't fucking airsoft in it, okay? And you guys got to do all the work for it. I'm just going to send you a cast, so you got to cut it all out and do all the stuff and paint it, okay?
It'll be, sorry, babe, the helmet stays on during bedtime.
Funny enough that you mentioned that specifically. So when we first we did the trials of our we molded the chest pieces first, and we cast those in a bunch of different urethanes to see which one we liked the best. So we're fucking taking hammers and just hitting it and watching the flex and seeing what it does. And later that night, I took it upstairs and I was just taking funny pictures with it, like sleeping naked in the bed with it, like I had it covering my genitals. And my wife is looking at it. She goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" It's like, well, just nothing. Can I wear it?
It's a long story. It's for social media.
See, I'm hoping she turned around and went, "Yeah, fuck it, let's wear it."
Yeah, 1,000% she fucking did. Well, this is what's paying your bills, baby. Yeah, absolutely, you can wear it.
Oh, for God's sake. Love it.
I'm going to say that brings a whole new meaning to wearing protection in bed.
Yes. Well, yes.
The helmet stays on during sex.
So, after the ODST kits, are you doing any more sort of Fallout kits, or is it just to order? Are you going to move into that region of different stuff again, or are you going to stick with the ODST until the interest sort of dries up a bit?
So with the NCR Rangers that we just finished, we have the molds for them, and I've gotten a few orders for them, although I'm not really pushing those because it was just supposed to be a one and done. But since we have a standard to uphold, like an image, we make everything out of rubber, so it's like fuck it, let's mold them and cast them in rubber, I guess. But who knows? I mean, I know right now we're making Mark V Bs from Reach, and it's all going to be rubber, and then we're also going to. It's going to be a slow progression, but we're going to have all the attachments for the armor, and we have a specific system figured out to where each person can get their own specific thing and make their own Noble 6 in real life. But we're going to do those in rubber as well as vacuum formed plastic, so it's cheaper on the whole for people. And then we're making Mark 7s from Halo Infinite. I don't know what it's from. I just really like the fucking armor. It's the only thing Halo about the new games. So
if it's the new games, my knowledge of the new games drops off a cliff. Because like we said earlier,
the only one. That's the only one I have actually played, mainly because it was on PC. So
yes, well,
yeah. Well, the biggest hurdle for a lot of people for Spartan costumes seems to be their undersuit. So we're talking with a company right now to see if we can get those produced in quantity, a good quantity, and good quality, and hopefully we can start offering those too. But the thing is, it's always like trying to find something that can hold your name and you be proud of it, as well as it just having enough for people to want to buy. We also want to make sure it's affordable. So it's like you get your 3-circle Venn diagram, like your cost, speed, and quality. Pick 2, but it's like we don't really do that. So we want all 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Say you were to get an ODST full kit, what's it actually mounted on? Is it like a mechanic's jumpsuit type thing, or is it? How does it all sort of sit? Is it like a micro chest rig that you clip together, or?
No. So it's just right now on our ODSTs we're running. You don't have to, but we run Cry Precision multicam blacks. You can run anything. Just don't get the cheap Amazon shit.
Yes.
And then
the pricey good stuff. Fair enough.
Yes.
Yeah, the stuff that used to have a waiting list of 6 months, but now you can just buy it. It's crazy. But we run multicam black BDUs, and then on top of that, we just got a pretty cheap airsoft vest. So it's made by Condor, but it's the ones that zip up in the front. You know what I'm talking about? And then it's got 3 adjustable straps on the side. So we'll bolt everything to the plate carrier. Well, it's not a plate carrier, but the vest. And then there's just like a 2-inch belt that we hang off the hips for the thigh plates, and then the shins just stay on their own, just buckles on the back of them. But everything's bolted to this little vest, and then you loosen up the side straps and you throw it on. It's like a big turtle shell, and then you adjust everything on your own. The thing about it is we wanted to make it to where people can put on their own kits by themselves, no help externally, including their own backpacks. And they also had to be able to do it in under 5 minutes. So everybody that comes into the shop that makes their own kits, we make them do it after the kit's done. It's like, because maybe you're going to go to a convention alone, or maybe whatever. It's like you have to be able to do this alone. So, and especially like for people when they buy the stuff as a finished product, we want to make sure they can do it alone. Let's face it, most of us are sad virgins, right? So
100% turbo virgins.
Yeah. Basement dwellers.
Yes, full on. Well, Larry's literally in his basement, so that counts. Box 2.
Yeah, buddy. Single life, forever alone, baby.
I am living that life at the minute.
Yes.
Hey man, ride that wave while you can.
So we've gone on about the sort of previous kits you've made, the current kits you're making. We mentioned Warhammer earlier. If you're to make a Warhammer cosplay, you can choose one faction and one sort of, whether it's Death Corps or whatever it might be. What would it be? You can just.
I think if I could just pick one that wouldn't take a year of effort, it would absolutely be Emperor's Champion from the Black Templars. 1,000%.
Cool.
Yeah, Black Templars are just so damn cool, man.
Just do a Google.
What is a Black Templar?
Quickly Googles. This is Space Marine.
Yeah.
The big guy. Okay, very cool.
Do you ever delve into sort of the sort of fantasy dragons, that sort of side of it? Do you ever get people asking for that kind of thing, or do you just stick mainly with sci-fi, that sort of side of it?
I had a guy reach out to me a couple weeks ago and asked me if I could make something in time for, I don't know, short work time. I said, well, what's your budget? He goes, $1,000. I don't know what the hell it was. Some type of Victorian era garb. And I told him, I said, no, like I can't do that. But I built a ring wraith from Lord of the Rings one time. That was cool. But I personally, man, like knights and dragons and wizards, I just fucking hate it. You know, I think it's so boring. It's like, oh, you know, like you just a bunch of guys with tennis balls throwing them at each other, LARPing. Lightning bolt, lightning bolt. It's like, you know, if that's what you want to do, cool. But I think it's fucking dumb. You know, like
I mean,
I never played.
Yeah. But
I've never played Skyrim.
they will start throwing tennis balls at people.
I tried to get. You guys remember the old video game Fable?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I tried that. I was always sort of like a Fallout player more than Fable and things like that.
Yeah, you know, yeah. It was like, it's fucking dumb. You know, or like Skyrim, I tried that, and it's like, this is fucking dumb. You know, I no more than an hour into it. It's like, I just don't have the give a damn to knights in shining armor. Like, it's not cool enough, man. It's not gross enough. You know, like, you know, I don't know if you've noticed a lot of the details on our ODSTs, but, you know, we brought a lot of real world specific things into them. Like, so we do suppressor wraps on the SMGs. You know, very tactical looking. And there's a bunch of people in the 405th, which is the Halo costume group, that have been imitating for that, and that's just really cool to see. I probably couldn't bring the same level of quality just based off experience to fantasy stuff because it's like, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I just choose to avoid it. Don't like it.
So on that sort of side of gaming and whatnot, is there any games you're looking forward to coming up this year? One of them for me is the new Stalker game. Have you ever done any stuff with the Stalker games? Yeah,
dude. I like Stalker a lot.
I'm very, very excited for the new one myself. It's one
I didn't even know there was one coming out.
It's literally. Go on.
I to be honest with you though, man, like I'm still playing Reach. Like I just downloaded Master Chief Collection like 2 months ago, and I'm just reliving my 2010s again. And Halo Wars, I play the fuck out of that still. But you know, I'm a caveman, dude. Most of the stuff, anything past like 2015, I just you know, I don't have a care to learn it. You know,
it's a lot of the modern games now they're just not quite the same as they used to be. It seems to be everything's got a paywall, everything's got a DLC, and it's like a pre-planned DLC. So the game will release immediately with the DLC, so you can pre-buy the DLC pack. Which I seem to remember the older games never had that.
No, you bought the game, you got the game, and then there was months later there might be a new map, and you were lucky to get that.
It's funny that Larry said kind of after 2015 everything went downhill. All I'm going to say was Harambe died. Was in 2016.
Holy shit, he did.
It was 2016 that happened.
There's a sign.
So that was it. The world went to shit from there.
Dude, and so if it was like if it was a cascading event, you know, to start at Ground Zero with Harambe, it makes total sense because like I live 5 minutes from the Cincinnati Zoo where that fucking monkey was shot. So that sucks, you know. Like, it makes sense that everything just started going downhill immediately for me. Wow. It just seems like everything's. Yeah, it just seems like everything's just fucking dumb anymore, man. It's like it's hot and then it's not. Like, what's the new thing that catches everybody's eye? I'd be gone next week. Don't worry about it. You know, nothing seems to have legacy. You know,
recycled shit as well. There's a lot of recycled shit. If you get into the movie side of it. Let's just re-release this, or let's rebadge this with a slightly shittier movie, like the Jurassic Park's a prime example. The first three were okay. First one was great, second one was good, third one was ish, and then the new three have come out, the Jurassic Worlds, and they're all just dog shit. And you think they've just rebadged the movies. Everything's sort of just churned back out over and over again. Feels like the same's happening with the Halo games. They're just squeezing every little bit of juice out of the IP they can. So I can see what you know,
like, and I think it was Star Wars Episode 8. I'm not sure. I don't care. But it's when they started to bring back Emperor Palpatine. And it's like, you know, the fans didn't like what we did in the first two. Let's bring back an old character that doesn't make any goddamn sense. And I just feel like it's a lack of creativity in Hollywood. And, you know, that's going downhill for them. It sucks. Whatever. I don't care. Let it burn. But, you know, 90% of gaming is the same way. It's just people who are just trying to price gouge the shit out of the consumer base, which is terrible. You know, like I still play GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64.
Yes,
so
what a game.
Classic, absolute classic.
Dude, my 5-year-old son will fucking beat any of us in GoldenEye. It's insane. Like,
It was GoldenEye, wasn't it, where you could have like 4 people and you could play as Oddjob, because
Yep.
you'd always have
Yeah,
the
dude.
advantage. Oddjob used to break so many friendships.
Dude, okay, so Odd Job, or then you can go the total opposite extreme and be Jaws, like the fucking really tall guy. We were just playing it last night, me and my son. We played it before I fucking put him to bed. So it's just so damn funny. I love that game.
Something me and my son has just started playing is actually the Master Chief Collection. So we started playing the first one. Now, it used to be, obviously, I've been playing Halos for years on and off, and I took a long break, and I got my lad an Xbox, and he said, look, can we play Halo? So I got the Master Chief Collection. We sat down, and I couldn't stop switching from the old graphics to the new graphics, and it's incredibly distracting, because every 5
I did
minutes
the
you stop
same.
and you go, old, new, and then you go, do I want to play in the new one or the old graphics? And then you go for old for a bit, and then you think, I'm going to go back and look at it in the new. Yeah, I found that I'd rather than just release it with the original graphics. Just that's what you get.
Yeah,
It's so distracting.
I did the same thing, dude. Like, before I downloaded Master Chief Collection, I bought all the original. Well, I was only missing Halo 1 and 2, but I bought those because a member of November Black had never played Halo at all. And it's like, well, if you're going to be a fucking ODST, you got to play the games. And we still didn't do it because we're fucking slackers. But yeah, same thing. I downloaded MCC. And I just an Xbox with the select button. I just kept hitting it. It was like, well, this is what fucking High Charity used to look like. I don't remember this at all. Or the openings of the Silent Cartographer in CE. It was like, I remember being the most fucking Saving Private Ryan airborne delivery op ever. But it was like, well, this is boring without the new graphics, But
that was my favorite level as a kid, playing that again and again and again and again.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Hot drop, man. Golden hot. It was so fucking fun.
Well, I recently re-downloaded because it was on EA Play, Medal of Honor Airborne. Don't know if you played
it. I just downloaded it too. I just re-downloaded it. Damn game.
I was literally sat playing it the other day, and I was like, Jesus, this looks awful. But also, like you say, I remember playing it. Like, God, what was it? 15 years ago now, maybe
more,
further
dude.
than that. Yeah, and I was like, I feel like I'm there. Like you say, it's that Saving Private Ryan. You're like getting into it, and you think it's the greatest thing ever, and then you look at it, and you're like, oh, this hasn't aged well, but it's still. Don't get me wrong. I completed it again, and I was like, fuck yeah. But
can't be.
See, that's what I mean, dude. I'm not sure if it's legacy behind video games or we're just all suckers for nostalgia. I tend to believe it's legacy because there's no way a lot of us feel the same.
Yeah, I think you're right about the legacy. The quality, the polish of games has dropped off. Graphically and fidelity, they might be better, but the actual core game itself is nowhere near as good as it used to be. Just look at Call of Duty. They're churning out a new COD every year. It's the same game, very generic campaign. But if you go back to Modern Warfare, the original Modern Warfare 2, whatever it might be.
World at War and all that.
You had some really, really hardcore, sort of well-drilled in memories. Like, there's some really good games there.
Yeah.
The modern ones just aren't the same.
Yeah, Black Ops 1 was so fun for me. Black Ops 2 too, mainly the campaign, because the M16 you see behind me, it's an A1 with the 2 or 300, but I love reenacting Vietnam conflicts in airsoft, and we do that annually. But Black Ops 1 and 2 is the only time period in video game history where it shows you glimpses of early to late Vietnam and then into the MPLA with the African Civil War and everything. It's like, this is the coolest shit. Like, damn the multiplayer. The rest of the campaign is just amazing.
Mm-hmm. It's some of the core memories that sort of get made with games like that as well. It's like I've said earlier, with playing the Halo series with my son, I'm watching some of those core memories get made with my lad. Like when you first see the flood in the game, and I'm watching the panic on my son's face when loads of these little things come out from the walls, and he's going, Dad, I don't know what to do. Dad, they're coming. It's proper like core memories are being made. It's really quite fun. And then you try and play the modern Halos things, and it's just not the same. Just doesn't hit the same.
I played through the campaign of Reach. I can't tell you how many times. Do you remember the scene right after Cat dies, where all Noble team they strike the flare and they're waiting to get picked up by Exfil? and just the score of that scene. My son was watching me play the other day, and he goes, "Why is the music sad?" And I had to. I didn't have to, but I just accidentally went on this tirade of what happens to you mentally when your first comrade dies in battle. It's like. And so, like, I replayed the whole damn campaign and made sure my son watched it, and just like watching Noble Team get chipped off one after the other, and he started to feel it. Like, so we get to Carter's death when he smacks into the Scarab, and my son was like, "Is he dead?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, he's gone." And my son was like, "I'm so sad."
You're traumatizing your kid, but it's worth it. So they
Yeah,
understand
bro.
Halo lore.
Yeah, man. Like, I got goosebumps just telling you guys that story.
I'm dreading the day when I have to sit through that game with my lad, and we're playing the final mission, fighting off a horde. It's that sort of horde mode where you're just trying to fight off endless waves.
Yeah,
I'm like,
objective is
and you have to turn to him
survival.
and go, "You're not going to win. You are going to die." And they'll be panicking, going, "No, I won't. I'll survive." Yeah, we've all done it.
Yeah.
At the very end,
Yeah.
and you're like, at the very end, everything ends. But yeah, that is a
Well,
proper
dude,
good game.
I'll tell you about a weird game that my son found on Xbox, some marketplace thing or something. But it's called Piku Niku. I'm not sure if you ever heard of it, but it is the most child-friendly, explicit game, if that makes any sense. So you're just like this fucking monster, and there's this guy shows up and he's like, "Free money for everybody, just give me your crops and your land." And then, obviously capitalism, he turns around, he resells it back to the people when they had everything they initially wanted. And then he's the antagonist of the game, but the entire game you don't know it. But eventually you get up to the point to where you have to kill this guy. And my son just loves this character. And then it's like the final boss fight is him, and it's like you have to kill your god now. Like, are you ready for this, son? Like, you're this fucking 5-year-old. It's like, I don't want to do it. You got to, boy. You got to.
It's a very generational thing, because I don't know about you, but my parents just weren't interested in gaming. They were that sort of generation where they didn't really, you gave them the controller, "Come play COD with me, Dad," and they go like that, and they'd run at the wall because they don't quite know what they're doing. It's a
Yeah.
Can't relate.
No, I've got a lot of. Most of my mates have daddy issues or lack of dads. Don't ask me why. I don't know. Anyway, and now sort of our kids are like, come play a game, and you'll be able to sit there and play a game, which is a really nice thing to do.
Yeah,
Now,
totally. I love playing games with my kids.
now, are your kids into the Halo scene as well with you? Do they come to these guys are going to have fucking broke them after saying daddy issues?
Sorry,
It's okay. Fucking broke them. Both of these have got absent fathers, and you can tell in normal day-to-day life. I'm wiping a tear away.
sorry. Right, yeah.
It's okay. Anyway, do you tend to sort of? I assume it's like a Comic-Con kind of setup where you'll go and do the ODST sort of vibe. Is it something you get the kids involved in, or is it very much you and the sort of your mates who go and do it more or less?
So like the local cons, I'll take my kids to. But as far as like we travel a lot, sometimes up to 8 hours for cons. I won't take my kids to that just because it's like it's the boys' weekend.
It's a
You know what I
whole
mean?
Yeah.
So it's
That's
like my son has one of those cheap Halloween store Master Chief costumes. And we did the Halo 2 intro to where it's like this and that's busted. You know how expensive this is, and then it cuts to my son. He goes, "Tell that to the Covenant." So that's fucking hilarious. But,
That's cool.
they're too small. That's where our costume sizing gap is. It's like you can't have toddlers and it's just little kids. So, but we'll get there eventually.
There's a limit of how much time you can spend dressing your kids up in Halo kit, to the point where you think this is costing me way too much money for the meme.
Yeah, totally. But so it's like, you got this little $7 energy sword and this $20 Master Chief costume. Get out there, Chief. But it was so damn cool for him because we were all down here in the workshop one day. He comes out in this Chief costume with a little Reach Magnum that I made him, and we're all like taking photos at our ODST for promotional material. And he comes down here. One of my buddies goes, "Chief on deck," and we all stand at attention and salute him as he's walking by.
That's cool. That's
love
proper
that.
cool. Yeah,
he loved it.
Cool.
So
So,
it was good stuff.
what should we expect next from you guys as a company then? So obviously you're just producing the kits at the minute, and you said you've got the film things coming up. Have you got anything else sort of in the works? I know you said you're doing some stuff with movies that you can't really mention at the minute. When should we expect some of these new things to come out?
I don't know, man. As soon as we can. But as far as like definitive dates, a lot of the things we do are fast and loose. unless they're customer-based things. Then we're really that's our predominant bread and butter right now, and that's what's keeping me fed and my family fed. So I like to steer towards keeping that going predominantly before the exterior hobby part of it comes into play for my personal wants and needs. But as soon as we can. But before the year's out, I hope. I would really love that before the year's out for sure.
Mhm.
I know, like I said, we're going to offer Mark 5 kits, Mark 7 kits, Spartan stuff, and then Halo Reach Marine kits. Eventually, we're going to make, well, we're already making it right now, but the Bullfrog jetpack from Reach, and its little things are going to come out. It's going to shoot little smoke and all kinds of cool stuff. So
That's gonna be
that
cool.
Cool.
we'll have that very soon.
So, if people want to reach out to you, say our subscribers, because I know we have a couple of people who sort of run. I did spots on our Instagram who sort of run like the Boba Fett kits, things like that. If they want to reach out to you, what's the best way of getting a hold of you? Is it Instagram?
Don't reach out to me ever. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, Instagram for sure. You can reach out to me personally on Facebook, but I look at my Instagram way more. If you reach out to me on TikTok, chances are I check that like once every 5 days because I don't care about that stupid app. But Instagram is definitely the way to go. Yeah.
I mean, the best way I've found to do it is have a glass of wine, send a sporadic message off to him, and he replies really quickly, and then you're left shocked. So just get a hold of him. I'll put a link to your Instagram in the description
Obviously,
below.
we'll put a disclaimer. Keep it PG, guys. We don't want Larry messaging me being like, "You have some retrobates messaging me now."
I keep getting loads of feet
Oh,
pics
man.
of these weirdos
Yeah.
offline.
Dude, that is so goddamn funny you mentioned that. I had a guy just the other day, like Tuesday or
man.
Wednesday. Well, yeah, dude, Wildcat, man. So like we get back from Dragon Con on Monday night, and it's like Tuesday or Wednesday, so we're still like physically recovering. And this guy's like, "Hey, man, I love your scruff. By the way, you got a killer bod. Would you ever do like? Do you have an OnlyFans I can sub to? And would you ever do like saucy ODST pics and completely discreet, by the way?" And it's just like, how the fuck do I respond to this? Like,
Yes. Here it is.
I sort of go, here's a foot pic, buy a helmet,
Yeah.
go away.
Yeah, dude. Part of me wants to be like, well, how much you willing to pay, buddy? But the other part of me is like, you got morals. You can't be doing that. That's fucking dumb.
You've got morals,
You know?
but you really wanted that new spray gun for the helmet.
You know what I mean?
In my line of work, I chose money over morals. It's more than welcome to do that.
Ross is the degenerate of the group, but that's fine.
Nothing wrong with that, brother. A lot of people would say I'm the degenerate of my group. But,
So
I'm just very brash and to the point.
Yes.
If people want to get a hold of Larry, like I said before, his links for his Instagram and whatnot be in the description. Check out the YouTube channel for that short film. I thought it was absolutely fucking amazing. It's well worth a watch. Now, what are the socials and what are the best ways to... Where are you? What socials have you got? Just shout so people know.
Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok all are under the same handle, Vulture Productions. On the other side of that same coin, you could reach out to my business partner, Daryl, on Instagram or X, I think. I don't know. But he's All First 3D. And then, yeah, we're the two guys that make everything. Our PR guy, Anthony Moore, a lot of you guys probably don't know that he works with us, but he's More Shots on all social platforms. It's two O's and more. But yeah, a lot of those things is how you can reach us. Just about any social platform. It doesn't really matter.
Awesome.
Instagram, preferably for me, though, please.
Has anyone got any other questions for Larry? Or Larry, do you want to put anything in before we start to wrap the podcast up? Because I'm just being a little bit time conscious because I don't want to absorb your whole evening.
That's fine, man. All I'm going to do is make casts after I get off the air anyway, so I don't have anything to add. Nothing I can think of.
Dom? Ross? All good?
Yeah, nothing from me.
Are they Astra Militarum or is it Imperial Guard?
What's that? I'm sorry.
For 40k, do you call them Astra Militarum or is it Imperial Guard? This is what I want to know. I wanted to ask this and I couldn't get it in anyway. So how far back is it?
I think 90% of the guys that I know that are oriented around Warhammer call them the Imperial Guard. So, or Guardsmen.
Guardsmen, yes.
Is that a time-sensitive thing, like Astra Militarum to...
It's always referred to as a guard. You know, when people play, I play Astra Militarum. I used to play Warhammer very competitively, and you just always see it slip. And the people go, "Oh no, play Astra Militarum." It's like you've not been playing guard long. Like, you don't know what you're saying anymore.
That's a deep nerd question, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was
totally.
cool.
That's fine. That's fine. We're all fucking nerds at the end of the day. I mean,
How do you play 40K competitively? Like, do you beat the guy up if he's winning on tabletop, or like?
We used to play tournaments at Warhammer World. So I got one trophy, I got second
Oh,
place.
sweet.
I used to play sort of like local GTs, that kind of thing. And that's sort of the weekend thing. It was my boys' night or boys' day until I found Airsoft, and I thought Warhammer was expensive, and then we got into Airsoft, and I was like, Warhammer's basically free.
You get to run around the woods with loads of sweaty men. It's great.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, 1,000%.
Stood in a hall with sweaty men, now in the woods.
If you guys would be sure to send me your shipping information. I assume you guys are all relatively geographically close together. Yeah.
They're sponsored players of mine. I'll post it out to them, whatever we get as well. So, but
So,
if you'd like something from Warhammer World or anything like that, let me know what you'd like. Send me your PO stuff, and I'll get it sent over. So
that's lovely, man. I can't appreciate that enough.
Like I said, check Larry's social medias out, and yeah. Thank you for watching the episode, and thank you for coming on the podcast, Larry. It's really appreciated. And if you ever want to come back on, it's a fully open invite. If you ever want to come back and you want to just do any adverts with us or anything that might be, we'll happily advertise for you for free. So, and I'll remember to press record at the start of the next one we do.
30 minutes in. Oops.
Yeah, fucking hell, honestly. So, that being that, I think that will pretty much wrap up today's podcast. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out Larry's shit. And I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, chaps.